We made it. We freaking made it to 100 episodes for all of you AAFFers. Thank you all for listening that have been here through this journey. AJ and I are here today. Our contributor, Bob, is off to the side again. He helped us with some of these rankings. We're going to talk about our top 100 rankings today because it's the 100th episode. We'll go through some news. We also have a fantabulous giveaway for all of you guys. AJ, how are you today? Tell us a little bit about that giveaway.
Yeah, I'm good. First video podcast, so hopefully you're watching this on YouTube, and if you're not, we'll still be posting it to our normal, anywhere you get your podcast, you'll still be able to listen to the audio version. However, as I mentioned, the YouTube account, so we're doing a giveaway, a $25 Amazon gift card, our biggest giveaway so far. For our 100th episode, for hitting 1,000 TikTok followers, everybody that's followed us on TikTok and interaction's been crazy. Thank you so much. But you need to follow our YouTube, and the best way to get there is by going to our TikTok. There's a direct link with a little YouTube logo there, and it'll take you right to the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit subscribe. It's just below, or a little red button that says subscribe. And follow the TikTok channel. We'll pick a random follower and subscriber of each, and it'll be a $25 Amazon card.
Yeah, it's exciting. Again, we do appreciate the help on TikTok there. Make sure you follow us on there if you want all these updated rankings we got, all of the updated fun we're having, and some of the news we got. So kicking off with the news, I think one of the smaller things happening is Darius Leonard's now going by Shaquille Leonard. AJ informed me that is his middle name, in fact. So Darius Shaquille Leonard, and now he wants to go by Shaq or Shaquille. AJ was telling me about some of the troubles he's had when at his work he went by Aaron for like 2 years, but he's actually AJ.
Well, it's because, you fill out all the paperwork. You don't have this problem because you are Alan and you go by Alan.
Yeah. Never had a nickname.
Yeah. So my parents named me with the idea that they would call me AJ. So I don't know why they didn't just pick AJ. Just leave the middle name out. I don't need it.
Yeah. I like AJ better. You should just change it on your birth certificate.
I'm thinking about it.
A smaller piece, too, is Kyler. He got that new contract. He has 4 hours that he is required to have independent study, undistracted, every week. A lot of people see this as such a small piece. That could be why he fell off at half the end, like the second half of the year, because he wasn't really paying attention as much as he should have. I also saw a tweet where each COD, Call of Duty release date, was when he would trail off and fall based on his performances. Don't know if it's relevant together, but it was pretty interesting. Brad sent me that.
People our age, like from like 35 to currently 18, 12, they're always going to have struggles in life because of video games. It's just always going to be a part of it.
Priorities first, people.
Yeah.
Little piece here, so as we go through the training camp and some of preseason, there is news and talks, but it doesn't always mean a lot. This piece here, Belichick saying that Mac Jones has made dramatic improvement this offseason. Belichick usually doesn't say much, so it is kind of a big deal he's saying something.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of those. Yeah. Another piece here, speaking of quarterback, Shanahan says that we have moved on to Trey. The entire team talked, everybody with Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo can successfully seek a trade if he wants. I thought that was already happening, kind of, but whatever. I guess he gets the okay from his coach now.
Well, all the coaches this morning met with Garoppolo, and they decided that he would not even practice with the team. That's how official it is.
Oh, they're like, just leave. Like, don't even hang out.
Find your trade. You're not playing with us. So
okay. So some relevant news. I don't know how relevant this will be. The Dolphins sign Mohamed Sanu. I know we've seen glimpses of Sanu having success, but with the Dolphins and how many weapons they have, I think he'll be more of a reliable option than a fantasy option. And then Chris Carson retired today officially.
I can't believe you didn't lead with that.
Well, I wanted to save the juicy stuff for the end here. But yeah, him and Danny Amendola retired. Danny Amendola won a couple championships, good career, but Chris Carson, his was cut short because of that neck injury. It's kind of sad to see because he was such a focal point of that offense.
He was only 27.
So Rashad Penny.
Well, not
Well,
was.
he did pretty well for a
He is only
27-year-old.
27. He's only 27.
So
But-
that is, our eyes were already on Rashad Penny and Kenneth Walker. So this isn't news for fantasy so much as it is for the NFL.
Well, I want to say about fantasy, the fantasy side of it is Chris Carson's one of the most underrated, undervalued, borderline league winners of all time in Seattle. Like, people would not draft him until the fourth, fifth round, and he would put up top 10 running back numbers every single year. So I would say, I bet you he won leagues at least 3 out of the 5 seasons he played in the NFL.
Yeah,
So-
he was so under the radar.
Yeah.
Moving on from that, speaking of training camp news, James Robinson is avoiding the PUP list. I think that's huge. It's telling us now that, he's going to – I don't know because we don't know, but it sounds like he's going to be on track to start the season. I think that helps the team as a whole. I think him and ETN are huge for their offense in Jacksonville. But I don't know what to do with the two now, because if he is there fully going, they love him there. And Peterson's a running back kind of guy. So I think they're both going to be heavily involved.
Yeah, I think they'll ease him in. I mean, he's going to be 7 months
Right.
off of an Achilles tear, which we saw Cam Akers come back 5 months after, and he did not look good. Because it's a massively significant injury from that. I mean, shifting your weight and kind of getting in and out of the line
Didn't Kobe have
and
that
everything.
same injury?
Kobe did have that same injury.
Yeah, he didn't look the same after that either.
Well, it was 2016 or whatever. But I still think this keeps ETN high. I think Robinson will be a part of the game plan, but I still think we can expect huge things out of ETN.
Yeah, and the last piece here is more, we want to put our thoughts and prayers out there for John Mechie. Really anything we can do for him here. It's just sad to see. He has a case of cancer that he does feel that can be treated. It is a successful leukemia treatment that he'll see. Just kind of stinks because he was somebody that was going to help this team out a lot. They traded up for him. And then I know he also had an injury in college to end his career there. So it's just sad. We hope he goes through it quickly and easily and, moves on to, we see him in fantasy and everywhere else.
Yeah, hopefully full recovery so he can start his career, but obviously life is more important than that.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to move into our top 100 rankings. We're going to try to carry this, by 10 placements at a time. And then if we have any good people to talk about, because some of them, top even 30, are kind of all out there to where we kind of agree on things. But after that, it is where things can get a little wobbly and there's some narratives to talk about. So we're going to go through those. AJ's going to take us away by 10 each.
Yeah.
So you want to lead us off?
Yeah, before I get too far into it again, and sorry if this gets annoying, but we're going to plug the TikTok because we can be more frequent and more responsive. You guys know, listening, whether you're listening on the podcast version or the video version, we usually only do 1 or 2 podcasts a week. So if our rankings are going to obviously update more frequently, it is the end of July. We still have a whole month of training camp and things. So keep that in mind. If you go a little harsh on us, these are very early rankings.
But if you follow our TikTok, it's just word by word double A fantasy football all written out.
That's right.
You guys can yell at us there. Please follow. We encourage it. We don't mind if you guys are there sharing your ideas, and let us know where you think we should move some people up. And if you got a good case, we'll give you a shout out and tell you why we moved them up.
Yeah, for sure. So let's get started. Number 1 overall, I think no surprise, Jonathan Taylor. He kind of is lined up there as the number 1 safe talent. I think we're both kind of there. But then our number 2 is Christian McCaffrey. And I feel like we're both ready to get hurt again by this man.
No.
It's like when you see the TV shows where the boyfriend's treating the girlfriend really bad and she just can't quit him. She just can't quit him.
And the neighbor next door is just a nice guy.
The guy next door, of course.
I think healthy, both of them healthy, Christian McCaffrey will finish ahead of Jonathan Taylor.
I think he blows Taylor out of the water. The problem is the health is the big question.
Exactly.
We'll get to a guy later that fits that same narrative, but you don't it's the same thing, but it's different. And when we get to him, I'll let you know. Number 3, we have Austin Eckler. If I'm being honest, I think we could actually start the wide receivers here.
Yeah.
Because I think Taylor and McCaffrey are kind of in a league of their own, and then Kupp and Jefferson are in a league of their own. So then you can go from here. But Eckler, solid. I mean, he probably won't have 20 touchdowns again because that's absurd. But he's still going to have
I put a TikTok out about this. He hasn't gotten over 3 rushing touchdowns ever, except for last year when he had 12.
Yeah, and they drafted Isaiah Spiller, who's a big boy, going to take some goal line work. But the passing game, if this is PPR, then this is how I ranked my rankings. Eckler, full PPR is still amazing. At number 4, we have Joe Mixon. Not much to say. Lines improved, teams improved. It's just going to be an easier job for him this year. That's how I feel about it.
I'm with you.
Number 5, we have Justin Jefferson, not Cooper Kupp. I think we were divided on this, but we both believe Justin Jefferson could be ahead of him. I think he is ahead of him. The reason I say that, and I'll let you go on your end too, I think there's going to be a little bit of drop-off with Thielen. I think they're still going to air it out a lot in Minnesota with the new coaching staff. And with Allen Robinson there the full year, the timing of when Cooper Kupp, I mean, he was good all year, but when Robert Woods was there, he was actually taking a big chunk away from Cooper Kupp, and then he got hurt. And then when they signed Odell, he took away from Cooper Kupp too. I think Allen Robinson's going to be able to take away from him the whole year. And honestly, I think he's better than both of those 2 receivers.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree with that. And I think, Kupp, the only difference between these two in my eyes is Kupp has the PPR upside if you're in full PPR league, where Justin Jefferson he's going to get the yards and the touchdowns no matter what. He might just have less receptions. That's the only dividing factor for me.
Either way, these are 2 really good guys that you could take high. I think if you're going 0 RB, this is This makes your life easier.
Even if you just want to play it safe, you could take one of these 2 guys for the first round and then be set.
Because we talk about how these running backs, half of them aren't even going to make it to the finish line. It happens every year, but these guys will probably be there at the end for you, these 2 receivers. So at number 7, we have Dalvin Cook. Honestly, I could see him having a case as high as 3. I think he's going to be great this year. His touchdown regression last year was unlike him on a normal basis.
He had
just because
so little rushing in the 10.
Yeah. Right, and I don't think just because they're going to pass more in Minnesota doesn't mean he's not going to – I mean, they're going to get down to the goal line and he's going to get it. So I think his touchdowns go up. I think his value goes up. Number 8's interesting, Derrick Henry. I mean, this guy was like running back 18 last year and he only played 8 games. Is it the one injury plus the workload? Is that what we're fearing here?
I think it's that and then his weight. Like, he is a big dude, and those are tiny, tiny bones in his foot that could easily get stepped on, and boom, it's back to where it was. Like, it's not like the thicker bones that it takes a lot to do something. It's tiny bones in your foot that – now, he also came out there with the boot on, so we know he can fight through the pain, but he did not look the same.
Sure.
In that one game we had still.
Number 9, we have Najee Harris. Now that I'm looking at this, I think I would have him a little bit lower and somebody that we have lower a little bit higher. And when we get to that guy, hopefully I remember and I'll say it. But I mean, his workload's going to be amazing again this year. It might be a little bit lower, but he was so good. I mean, just the amount of quality touches that he gets. The line is still bad, but they're going to be better.
They upgraded a little.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think he'd be a little lower for me. His receiving work was insane, and that's because Ben couldn't throw it more than 5 yards. So there is that safety route there, and we tend to see the running back gets an uptick whenever they have more of a rushing quarterback. So it depends on Trubisky being there or Kenny Pickett being there.
At number 10, to round out the 10, we have Travis Kelce. Finds his way here, but this could be the year he hits the wall. I mean, he's getting up there in age. Actually, all the top tight ends kind of are, except for Mark Andrews. But he's the number 1 target in Kansas City now without a question. So I think
Well,
that's
and
a huge part of it.
Without Hill, absolutely.
Yeah. So
we just because we say this enough too, we don't tend to take that tight end in that first or second round just because it is valuable. You're never going to have to worry about that position all year, but we would rather stream people at worst case than have to give up that first pick. Because even when you're talking about like Najee's, I'd rather have him than Kelsey just for the upside of a running back that's going to get 240 touches and
he's so young and seems healthy. I mean, anybody could get injured at the running back position, but he's so young. There's not a ton of wear and tear on him yet. There's actually a tight end I love going in the third round that I would take early, but that's probably one of the only tight ends I would take early, and we'll get to him too. Starting out our next 10 at 11, we have Aaron Jones. I think we both love Aaron Jones this year as a wide receiver out of the backfield and as a runner in general. He's going to get a ton of usage. No Devontae Adams, you know. Speaking of Devontae Adams, what a segue.
Oh.
12 overall, we have Devontae Adams. So in a 12-team league, we expect him to go in the first round. I bet there's a lot of debate on these next three. Give all three then. So number 12, Devontae Adams. Number 13, Stephon Diggs. And number 14, Jamar Chase.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of people have Jamar Chase as their number 3 wide receiver.
Why, for whatever reason, why isn't Diggs in that? Like, people don't feel like Diggs is in the tier with those top 3 guys. And he should be with Kupp and Jefferson. Like, he should be in that tier.
To me, I think Kupp and Jefferson are by themselves. And then these 3 guys
at least you'll give them that.
These 3 guys are together for sure. Diggs, Chase, and Adams. I mean, the only problem with Adams is we haven't seen it with Derek Carr. But
the only problem with Chase, which I'll immediately counter it, is that some people saw him play. He also had a couple like huge plays that got him those extra points to boost him last year. But the counter argument is that second-year wideouts really perform better than their rookie years that we've seen in the past.
Sure, and I mean
it's Jamar Chase.
The amount of times the frequency of those big plays aren't an anomaly with him. It's so consistent that it's a part of his game. It's like kind of like Tyreek Hill beating everybody down the field type thing. Obviously, if you guys listened to the podcast last year, I was all over Burrow and Chase forever. Should be a little higher on him, I guess. 15 overall. This is who I think I could kind of move up and move Najee down a little bit. DeAndre Swift. I think we're both getting pretty high on him.
Everybody is. That's the biggest name I see on Twitter all the time.
He fits the criteria for like a top 3 finishing running back this year just because of age, opportunity, and how dynamic he is. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. He's a big weapon for Detroit. The only takeaway, I think we're still not talking about Jamal Williams eating into the workload because we kind of just forget. But
I think Jamal Williams got a little hurt at the end of last year too. So that gave Swift the backfield to himself. He was off and on. I don't think it was anything major.
Right.
And Jamal Williams is good. Like I used him as my flex numerous times last year.
And he's going to be used this year. Like they kept him around for a reason. At 16 overall, we have Leonard Fournette. A lot of guys have him in the top 10 of their running back rankings. I think this is fine. Tampa used him tremendously last year. It's the best year of his career, I think. He was just awesome last year. I think he finished RB4. So this is a lot lower than that. At 17, we have CeeDee Lamb. No more Amari Cooper. Dak Prescott healthy. I don't see why the sky's the limit for CeeDee Lamb, I would say.
Could I ask real quick where Zeke is on the list?
Zeke is 25th overall. So 8 spots lower.
So, I mean, I like them both. CeeDee Lamb, I have no problem with him. Gallup is going to have a slow start back to the year.
Very slow.
And they got rid of Cedric Wilson. The only other piece there is Dalton Schultz, which we'll get to him eventually. So it is CeeDee Lamb's show. There's
somebody you're not talking about. Jalen Tolbert is going to be a huge part of that team. He's going to be a huge part. But CD, he's the guy. I think you're going to see the upside that we were hoping for last year. This is the year where he makes that climb. At 18, we have Tyreek Hill. New place, new quarterback, same Tyreek.
Funny, he's so much lower than Devontae for us too.
Well,
It's
Devontae
Tua.
Adams went to Derek Carr, whereas the uncertainty of Tua Tagovailoa. We both like him, but not compared to Derek Carr.
Right. Did you see that Tyreek Hill said, I thought it was, yeah.
For
Hill
this,
said that
for the
it's-
10th time, yes, he has said. Go ahead.
that it's weird changing from one Hall of Fame quarterback to another Hall of Fame
Oh,
quarterback.
I didn't even know. I thought you were just going with him being the most accurate quarterback in the NFL.
No. I was like,
my
it's a
God.
little bold, but it's way different. He
I-
was making fun of Mahomes more than he was Tua, obviously. So maybe their chemistry's building quick.
I love him talking him up. That can only be good things.
Right.
I think people have given up too early on Tua. Bad situation going on with the coaching and the ownership and all that weird investigation stuff that went on. I don't think you can judge Tua too early. At 90, we have Deebo Samuel. I think he could probably be a little bit higher, but we were, at the time of these rankings, we were still unsure about the contract. We're still unsure, but this press conference today, we could have put this in the
Yeah.
news, actually. They made it seem like they're probably going to get a deal done with Deebo.
Yeah. And he was there practicing and everything today. So
Yeah.
it is different. They lost their offensive coach. They also are shifting quarterbacks. So there is a lot of question marks.
Yeah, I mean, 19 overall in a 12 team is mid-second round. I think that's fair for him. To assume he would have the repeat production that he did last year would be a little. I mean, that's like you're banking on an absurd year. But with Trey Lance, maybe the receiving work changes. Maybe that goes up. We'll see. I'm comfortable taking him there in this middle of the second. And to round out at 20, we have tight end Mark Andrews. That's your guy.
Yeah. I love it.
Would you take him in the second round? The late second?
No. Nothing on him, it's not like I don't think him or Kelsey would produce. It's just it's hard to take a tight end that early.
Well, okay, let's say you had the 4th pick and you took Joe Mixon. Let's just say that's what you took. And then you pick between Mark Andrews, Nick Chubb, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I think I would.
You'd take
Just
Andrews?
because I know. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I guess if I got any of the top 6 running backs, I guess I would. Because
Okay.
we know there's so many late round running backs, and we know that there's so many late round wide receivers.
Sure.
Like it's not going to be a struggle to fill the rest of the team. So I guess I do see the upside there now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's why I think that's a good spot for him as far as our rankings go, because it's late second, and if you're drafting late second, that means you were early first, so you probably got one of those running backs.
Yeah. I do like trying to be the tight end guru and finding hidden gems with that though.
Yeah.
So I usually pass because
He's
of that.
only taking Gerald Everett this year. Okay.
Everywhere.
Don't ask him otherwise. All right, let's go to 21. We got Nick Chubb. I mean, 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns is very likely for this guy, and probably more. Especially if Deshaun Watson's suspension is limited. I think
Even if it's not.
Yeah, exactly. They have
He's a
one
little
of
bit
the
of a
best
rushing
lines.
quarterback.
They have one of the best lines. I mean, he's just a machine. 22, we got Mike Evans. I think this is the year we're finally not sleeping on Mike Evans. And maybe that's because of Godwin's injury. Brady's there still. This guy's done 1,000 yards every single year and close to double-digit touchdowns every single year. It's almost a guarantee at this point.
Yeah, he's like not the flashy pick either, even
Yeah.
though his numbers look flashy.
You
at the end of the
grab him
year.
and everybody's like, okay, nice pick.
Yeah.
And then you move on.
Nobody
And
talks
then,
trash to you at the draft.
then every week when you face him, you're like, oh my God, he has Mike Evans. Like, isn't it? It's so weird how that happens. Like, it looks weird
know.
on the draft board. You're like, yeah, Mike Evans. And then you face him and it's doomsday. Everybody's favorite PPR receiver, Keenan Allen, is at 23. I think that's fair. The relationship between him and Justin Herbert, as long as he avoids injury, I mean, he's just a machine.
Yep.
24, we got A.J. Brown. Tell me your thoughts on A.J. Brown.
I wish I could if I had secure, concrete thoughts. I don't have a problem with it. I like him. I think he's very, very good. but Devonta Smith is there, and he had a good rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be hard to share the ball, and we know that Jalen Hurts is kind of selfish with rushing a lot. So that's kind of where I'm standing. I'm kind of staying away from him. I'm kind of staying away from him if I can.
Okay.
But if he fell to my lap, I would definitely take him over, the people behind him.
It's annoying. Usually I love the first pick every year, but the guys that are there on the turn this year, the second to third round turn, they're very it's either there's like an age issue, a guy switched teams, you're unsure about something. Normally,
Let me
there's
give you a couple.
Sure.
All right. A.J. Brown or Terry McLaurin?
A.J. Brown.
Okay, A.J. Brown or DJ Moore?
A.J. Brown.
Really? I think I'd lean DJ Moore there. And then what about Debo or A.J. Brown?
Debo.
Okay.
The rankings reflect that for sure.
Yeah.
He'll be an interesting case. If Jalen Hurts improves his accuracy and as a thrower, it doesn't take much to get A.J. Brown to 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. So,
and that could be their game plan since they want Hurts to last too,
Mm-hmm.
like less rushing, more passing.
Yeah. At 25, we have Ezekiel Elliott. This could be a little controversial to some people. I think Alan and I both think that he still has gas in the tank. Before he got injured last year, he was running back 4. He got injured in week 6, I believe. So he was he was running back 4 through 5 weeks. Like, he was killing it. So there's gas in the tank.
I have no problem getting him where he is.
I don't either. I think people are really scared of him for some reason. And maybe it's because of the injury, but that was like his first injury of his career.
Right.
It's fair if you think he's going to get injured again, but you can't draft assuming injuries are going to happen. You just they are going to happen. It's just to what extent.
And if you really want to assume, then just get Tony Pollard later. But
yeah, you pay up for Pollard.
right.
I mean, he'll have standalone value too. At 26, we got Javonte Williams. The big climb is coming this year. I think Melvin Gordon's still going to be involved, but they're really going to start dishing it to Javonte this year.
People are saying 60-40. I feel like I'm leaning more 70-30 as far as Javonte and Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
But I'm with that.
At 27, we have T. Higgins. Everybody's wondering why he is so high. He had some absolutely blow-up games last year with Burrow. He has a tremendous talent, and he has Burrow's eye. Maybe not as much as Chase, but he's just very talented and puts up. I mean, he's kind of boom or bust sometimes, but I think he's going to put it together this year. The next 4 guys, let's go through them. We'll go to 30.
Okay.
T. Higgins, 27, Michael Pittman, 28, Deontay Johnson, 29, Jalen Waddle, 30.
I'm honestly surprised Mike Williams hasn't creeped up in there, but because Deontay Johnson, I would slide down, but that's my personal narrative, I guess. The way I'm seeing the team start to
Yeah, I want an explanation on that. Tell the people.
He asked for an extension. They said no. There was no conversation. It was just, no, we're not paying you right now. We're just not. I think they're going to try to include Claypool and Pickens a little bit more and just run Young while they can because they have Pickett there to just do that with. And he's going to want a max contract.
Pickett's going to win the job?
No, I'm assuming that Deontay Johnson's gone next year.
Okay, what in the Steelers' history tells you that the last year of a contract they just stop including guys?
I think it's because they're trying to form the rest of the team. They're trying to see, okay, should we pay Claypool? Should we keep Pickens heavily involved? What people should we really involve compared to Deontay?
So why wouldn't they just cut him?
Who, Deontay?
Yeah.
Because he's still crucial to the team. I just don't think he's going to see the volume he's seeing.
I'd have to see that to believe it, but you'll be out ahead of everybody if.
Yeah, again, that's just as a homer to the Steelers. That's my thoughts. But Pittman, also, don't sleep on him, everybody, please. Just don't. Look at Julio and Matt Ryan, the years they had. It's
some of the advanced analytics on Michael Pittman from last year people don't know about. He was absurd, and now he's got Matt Ryan, who's definitely an upgrade to Carson Wentz as far as producing fantasy relevant players. Jalen Waddle, I think, is fine down here. He's still going to be a PPR machine.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with him there. I think that's a good place.
And Terry McLaurin, Carson Wentz. I mean, he did fine with Michael Pittman. And talent-wise, I think Terry McLaurin might be a better receiver than Michael Pittman. But Michael Pittman's a bigger receiver than Terry. So I'm wondering if that kind of helped him in the way that Wentz is a little bit inaccurate. He could throw it into tighter windows, and Pittman would just body to get it. But McLaurin gets open. Like his route running.
The last 2 years that we've seen any success with McLaurin is because he's made it happen, where his quarterbacks were not as accurate. So he was going up and getting balls he shouldn't be getting. He was doing things that made the play happen.
Oh, yeah.
Is that who we have at 31?
That is 31. And then 32, we got Kyle Pitts. That's the guy I would draft early, the tight end that I would draft early. I know Alan's against me on that because he's worried about Mariota. If it's Mariota or Ritter, it does not matter. This is the guy this is their Kelsey, but he's more athletic. Like, he's a freak show on the football field. There's just no chance that this guy doesn't deliver this year, in my opinion. It's like a lock.
I have nothing bad to say. It's a personal take. Because, I mean, in your league, I won a championship with him. A little plug there for that. But I think people are sleeping. Like, Dalton Schultz is going in the 5th round. I'd rather have him than Pitts.
I would rather spend the 3rd on Pitts than the 2nd or the 1st on Kelsey or Andrews. That's what I'm saying.
And even if you look at him as a wide receiver 1 for the team.
Well, let's say I go running back, receiver, tight end, I don't.
Yeah, it's not bad as far as draft
it's
strategy.
not bad. And if you have an elite separation at tight end, you have a leg up on everybody.
Right.
Our next guy is Saquon Barkley. This is the guy we're going to fight about all year.
He hurts you. You keep taking him back.
Exactly. You're talking about taking McCaffrey at 1st overall, who has been hurt for 2 straight years, just like Barkley.
And he's finished higher half of the time than what Barkley has finished.
He didn't last year.
I don't know what their actual standings were, but
McCaffrey was like
25 points.
He was like 35, and I think Barkley was 31.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, that's your first argument for it every single time. It's the injury, but you don't care about that with McCaffrey.
Yeah, that's
true.
The
talent and the upside, the best offensive line he has ever run behind is going to be in New York this year. And he's going to be fully healthy. Will he stay fully healthy? I don't know. That's our question about a lot of guys in this draft. I'm just saying, I think it's definitely a majority of people are on Barkley this year compared to off of him.
They are for sure. He'll probably even climb higher into the top 24, I'd say.
Yeah, which I hope he doesn't, because I don't want to pay a premium for him. But where he's going in the 3rd round right now, I would love to have him. At 34, we have Alvin Kamara. He probably should be higher because it looks like he's not even going to be suspended.
Yeah, they're going to push that to next season, it sounds like.
Yeah, so if we were to just readjust these on the fly, I think he'd go somewhere up like, I don't know, maybe ahead of like Tyreek Hill at 18. Ooh. Or would you put him
how
higher?
Old Alvin Kamara is? Don't
tell me he's 27.
He's 27, man. Bad juju.
Keep him at 34 then. In case you guys don't know what we're talking about, running backs in fantasy have never really done well once they hit 27, right? Like they just never finish.
It's like an age wall.
They don't finish top 5 essentially. But if you can get Kamara in the 2nd or 3rd round, if you're drafting early, it's probably worth a shot. 35, we have Josh Allen. First quarterback for both of us. It's just, what is understood doesn't need explained. 36, we have DK Metcalf. 37, we have DJ Moore. 38, we have Brandon Cooks. I'm sure you don't agree with that DK Metcalf one. You would take Cooks and Moore over him, correct?
Okay. I would. Yeah. Cook for the safety, DJ Moore just because of the record pacing career he's having.
I really don't think DK.
I guess I'm not against it,
regardless of who's playing.
I know. And we watched him with Geno last year. He really didn't do that bad, but I'm pretty sure they're rolling with Locke.
Yeah, we'll see. But even with Locke, I mean, I just don't think it'll be long before Locke gets pulled, if we're being honest.
I know. I
And
could see a lot of
listen,
Debo-esque plays.
what if they
for
trade
DK.
for Jimmy? I mean, that could be something that happens, and then that
Yeah.
changes things.
Could be.
At 39, we have George Kittle. He is our tight end 3, correct? Yeah, we have Kelsey.
Yeah.
No. 4, tight end 4. We
okay,
yeah, we have
Pitts is
Pitts in front.
him.
Do you agree with that, or would you put Kittle ahead of Pitts?
No, I'd keep Kittle there.
I like
agree
Kittle's
with
upside
that.
with Lance, who's going to sling the ball a lot and create for him, because I think Kittle's going to be running a lot of underneath middle of the field stuff. So when Trey gets going, he's going to break off his route and follow him. And I think he'll be like a big sideline 12-yard guy a lot of the time.
Yeah. If you missed on Pitts, though, with your strategy, would you take
I'd
Kittle?
love to take Kittle. I think he'd
Okay.
be the last tight end I would take high. I'm not in on Waller this year.
Yeah, I'm not in on
At
Waller
number
either.
40, we have Justin Herbert. He's our QB2. Again, he's just awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, he is
Yeah.
insane.
He's had historical numbers the first 2 years as far as like yardage and touchdowns and pass complete, like just absurd stuff. At 41, we have Cam Akers, and then we have David Montgomery and Travis Etienne right behind him at 42 and 43.
I like that.
Okay, for Cam Akers, I think people are terrified because they saw he did not do well last year, but again, he was coming off the Achilles tear way too early.
Right.
But even then, McVay fed this man the ball 25 times a game. Like if he's going to feed him when he's on a half-healed Achilles, like full strength this year, and they're a really good
Those are the teams you
they're a
want.
really good offense that's going to be scoring touchdowns. And if they're getting at the goal line, Cam's going to wrecking ball his way in there. He could easily have 8 to 12 touchdowns, like no problem.
Would you drop ETN at all now that
No.
we know Robinson is
No,
Not even a
not in
little?
PPR. I don't think
Okay.
Robinson does anything to affect him much, because I don't think ETN's getting the ball 20 times a game no matter what. Like it's like 10
right?
to 15.
I'm thinking he's getting like yep. I was gonna say 12 and 5 to 7 receptions.
Yeah. So okay. So maybe closer to 20 than what I think, but I mean I don't think Robinson's going to be healthy and ready to go. I mean, I know he is ready to go, quote unquote, but he's not going to look the same. At 44, we got Mike Williams, receiver for the Chargers. He could be a little higher. I know you mentioned him being higher. For me, my problem with him being higher is he's very like risk reward. He's like a big
He's the biggest. He's for sure. A big
I mean,
bust.
he's basically like a better Deshaun Jackson because he's just like such a huge downfield guy. But you're going to get, for this price tag, actually the next guy is Cortland Sutton. We have at 45. I would almost put Sutton ahead of him because I really think
Yeah, I
he's
would
going to
too.
click with Russell Wilson. It's a very Tyler Lockett type relationship, I think.
Right, and I really feel like Russell Wilson, and we'll get to him wherever
Yeah.
we get to him, but he is going to be the steal of this draft.
He could be.
Do you think Russell Wilson could finish top 3?
No, because I don't
Really?
think he's going to run much. And
I don't even.
he's
care
not
about
going to
that.
outpass.
I think he'll still get 300 yards.
He's not going to
300 yards rushing.
outpass Josh Allen or Herbert. So his combination of passing and rushing has to exceed the next guy, which
Yeah.
is for us. I think I don't even know who we have at 3. Like between Lamar Jackson, who we both think is going to have a huge year, there's just no way. Top 5,
Yeah,
you could
I guess,
convince
with the
me top
rushing
5,
aspect.
definitely. But I just don't think he's going to. And I think they're going to run more. Maybe not more than like when they let Russ sling it in Seattle, they didn't run much. I think Denver's planning on running. I think they're going to let him throw. I'm not saying he's not going to throw, but Cortland Sutton,
You got to let him cook.
yeah, absolutely, let Russ cook. Cortland Sutton just feels a little safer to me than Mike Williams, but Mike Williams' upside is why I think we have him one spot ahead. Plus the injury history.
Yeah.
He never lands on his feet when he catches passes. He always falls.
Right.
46, we got Darren Waller. He's a good tight end. Production went way down last year, and then injuries also, but he's still really good. I think the age is going to hurt him a little bit. Just he's going to slow down. I think he's 32 almost.
I almost wonder though if he does more by doing less. Like if he's just more effective because they don't
Just kinda
demand 14 targets
Just
out of
sit
him.
there and catch the ball in the middle of the field. Yeah,
Right.
I mean their weapons on offense are ridiculous. So I think that's partially why he is where he is too, because there's a lot of mouths to be fed in that offense. At 47, we have Lamar Jackson. He is our quarterback 3. We both just expect him to come back to be who he was before last year.
Nothing's really changed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's healthy.
Like, he lost a receiver. Well, he usually only uses one receiver, and then Mark Andrews, and then runs.
Yeah, and he's healthy. Their running backs are getting healthy, so the running game is going to be better, which is always better for him with the way their offense runs. I think he's back to premium status at quarterback. At 48, we have James Conner. 49, we have Breece Hall, and that rounds out the 40s. James Conner, there's just going to be touchdown regression. Otherwise, I think he still produces.
Who would you rather have
Breece
between
Hall
those two?
to the moon. I love Breece Hall. I mean, next year, you could book this as a bold prediction if you want. Breece Hall is going to be a first-round running back next year. Like he will go in the first. He'll either go in the end of the first or like the right around the turn of the second. Like he'll be top 15. I'll say.
I think I'd rather have Breece.
He's
though.
Man, he is so talented. If you watched in college, James Conner, I would say, is the safer. You know what to expect from him from last year, but there is definitely going to be regression. He's just not going to score.
He's just a straight runner.
I know.
And
I don't know.
He does.
I thought that when he was in Pittsburgh, all he does is he was like running into his own lineman. He wouldn't even run to the hole. He would just if there was a hole, he'd run through it. But the touchdowns were crazy last year. I still think he's valuable as a running back too this year. He's not going to be a top 5 running back like he was last year. There's just no way.
He was like Cordero Patterson, where you're just like, how does he have so many touchdowns every single game, sitting on like 2 or 3 touchdowns at a time?
Yeah. And then Breece Hall, he's a rookie for the Jets, if you guys don't know, but he's got tremendous upside. Their line is a lot better. Their offense is just kind of growing together. They're very young. And he was electric in college. Starting out in our 50s, we got Amari Cooper at 50. He would be higher, I think, if Deshaun was guaranteed to play the whole year. Don't you think? I mean,
if we had some
so
certainty.
talented. Like this guy's sitting down here at 50 for us.
He's big.
At 51, J.K. Dobbins, he could be lower. It just depends on how worried you are about his injury recovery. But from the man himself, he said he's going to damn well be there week 1, and I believe him.
That whole feud was wonderful with him and Rapp, where Rapp was like, he's going to be put on the pup, like blah, blah, blah. And then JK's like, you need to ask me, like everything's fine. And then the next day, J.K. Dobbins is on the pup.
Yeah, he'll be fine. I think he'll be ready week 1. And his was an ACL tear, and he did it early. It wasn't that late in the – I mean, he did it in training camp, like the same day Gus Edwards did. So –
right.
He's had a full year to recover, and I mean, he's just he scored 8 touchdowns his rookie year. Dalton Schultz at 52. We both love Dalton Schultz. Finished as tight end 3 last year. I would expect the same thing this year, to be very good, top 5 tight end. 53, probably a volatile guy, Josh Jacobs. He finishes, I think, RB12 this past year. New coaching staff is the thing that worries me. Things I've heard is it's going to be definitely a shared backfield, just like New England. What the heck's his name? McDaniels. I was going to say McVay.
Yeah.
McDaniels is coming in. He's going to run that New England offense.
And they have Kenyon Drake.
They have Drake. They literally signed Brandon Bolden at like a super early stage of free agency, as if he was the most important guy they wanted. Which he's just a very average running back. So that just tells me like they don't love Jacobs. I still think he's fine I think he's like a mid RB2, but I don't see him finishing RB12. Next guy, I think. How the tides have turned. 54 overall, we have Allen Robinson. if you go to a Super Bowl winning situation with a great quarterback, I think that makes you a lot better.
It helps
in terms of how it looks.
We know he's not
Yeah.
bad. You know what I mean? Like he's older, but we've seen him do just fine everywhere else, except for with a team that was in shambles last year. With
Yeah,
the
I think
Bears.
he's definitely a borderline league winning type player because of where he's going. Then we have two quarterbacks back to back, Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes. Hurts, I think the legs give him the edge on Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I just think that's
and getting AJ Brown.
And then Mahomes, we haven't
And
seen
Mahomes
him without
losing
Tyreek
Tyreek
Hill,
Hill.
right?
Right. Yeah,
Then we have
Oh, hang on real quick. There's that breaking news that Julio Jones is signing with the Bucks. Does that do anything for the rankings?
Maybe
I
it just
don't think I'd want him.
no, I don't either. Maybe it makes us a little lower on Russell Gage. Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point.
But Julio's old and hurt and like
But he's
doesn't
big,
matter.
and Brady loves the big
does he?
guys.
Because
Yeah,
he's
he
made a
loves the
career
big
off of
guys.
throwing
Yes.
to the little guys. Wes Welker, Danny Amendola,
Okay, but I'm
Julian
talking, like,
Edelman, Deion
I'm
Branch.
talking about Gronk, Mike Evans. They're both
Yeah.
big guys.
They're really good too, with or without Brady. Like
Well, and the Bucks also got Kyle Rudolph, so that might
Another
be even
big
less
guy.
for Julio.
Kyle
I know,
Rudolph,
all the
tight end
big
6. 57 and 58. We have AJ Dillon and Antonio Gibson. Gibson has fallen super far. He might have been running back 12. He was around 12, 13, 14 last year. The thing with him is they brought in another running back. They have like 4 running backs there that they can use and they want to use. And he led the league in fumbles last year. So
Yeah, and there's still McKissick, which that's their passing work game. Like they're not straying.
and they
away from
drafted
that.
Brian Robinson. He's a big bruiser. And there was who stepped in for them last year. I cannot remember his name off the top of my head. You know who I'm talking about, right?
I'll look it up. I know who you're talking about.
That's another guy.
Was he a
He
rookie
was a
last
rookie
year?
last year. Jarrett Patterson. Yeah.
Yep, Jarrett
Patterson. So they just have a lot of guys there that I don't know. The fumbles. If Gibson fixes that puts him in a different light. But right now he's just like a flex for me. And if you go 0 RB, I think you can take him as your RB2 as long as you fill it in with other guys, that to make up for it at the end. Then we have Jerry Jeudy at 59. This one, I like Jeudy a lot.
Russell Wilson has supported 2 good wide receivers his entire career.
I agree
feel
with
like.
that.
Maybe not. I guess before
No,
DK.
Doug Baldwin.
Who was there before DK?
He was awesome.
Oh, you're right. Doug Baldwin. And
he was
Lockett.
amazing.
Yeah, he was great.
So I'm with you.
Yep.
The
so
only
I
thing
have
with
no
Jeudy is
problem
the
with
drops. If he fixes that, his route running and his speed is unbelievably good for getting open. And Russ is so accurate.
So would you say Jeudy is carrying almost the DK
Yeah.
role? And then Cortland
Yeah.
Sutton's kind of the
I mean, I
Lockett?
kind of look at
Okay.
Jerry Jeudy in a similar way that people were looking at Jamar Chase last year. Like they were nervous about the drops, but they were like, "Oh, he's explosive. He gets open. If he gets the ball, watch out." That's how Jeudy is.
He's so fast.
We'll see. I think Russ is going to help his career a lot. He could be a borderline league winner as well. Then we have at 60 we have TJ Hawkinson. Just, that's where he is. He's a good tight end.
Yeah. He fell off a little last year because of injury.
And
I
back
don't
to
have any
back.
problem with it.
Yes.
Hey, I have a real quick question. Do you think we're one of the only podcasts where everybody wears glasses?
I don't know. We'll have to scour the internet. We'll have
8
to
eyes are
scour
better
the
than
internet
4.
and find out. Back-to-back Browns here. 61 and
go ahead.
62. We got Hollywood Brown and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Hollywood, I think he's going to do very well the first half of the year for sure. And if he stays uninjured and is not dropping balls, I think he'll be productive in the second half as well, even when DeAndre Hopkins comes back. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he was unbelievable the last half of the year through the playoffs for everybody. Unbelievable.
He won so many Yeah, he won
and
championships for people.
I was big on him early in camp. Like this guy, he's going to be good.
We're gonna have to do a rookie segment where we talk about some of those guys because they always
if
blow
you
up
guys
the
have
second
been
half of the
listening,
year.
I've been mentioning some, and actually on today's TikTok, one of the TikToks we made today, Alan mentioned my guy Tyler Algier. Watch out! I'm telling you,
Yes,
it's
sir.
Ramondre season. At 63, we have Kyler Murray. He's going to be good. That's all you can say. He usually is. Then we have a run of receivers here. 64, 65, 66, and 67 are Elijah Moore, Chris Godwin, Darnell Mooney, and Rashad Bateman. Any problems with that order there? Elijah Moore, Chris Godwin, Mooney, and Bateman.
No, I like Bateman a lot, I think. So maybe him moving up. Because Hollywood was very sufficient last year. We actually saw it happening. We saw tons of drops still from him. So maybe Bateman's a little more secure than him, and I could see him being higher.
Sure. Then 68, we got Zach Ertz. 69, we have Joe Burrow. So essentially, you would be drafting Joe Burrow in the 6th or 7th round. Is that too early for you? Like, let's say you took...
No, I think that's right. That's like the earliest I would want to take quarterback.
Let's say you took
round.
how enticing would this be if you were like pick 9 in your draft and you took Jamar Chase at 9, and then down here in like the 7th round, 6th round, Joe Burrow's like, hey, you already got 2 running backs, 2 receivers. What's good? Joe Burrow. All right, at 70, we got the old man, Tom Brady. Are we disrespecting him? He was like quarterback 3 last year. Okay. 71, we have Michael Thomas. I'm telling you right now, if this guy plays, it feels weird. Like it almost feels like he's volunteering to not play. Like he doesn't want to be there. But if he does,
I don't know
I've
what
been
it
hearing
is.
things for the Saints about them opening it up for Jameis this year to throw more and be like less you know how like last year he was like 17 of 20 for 5 touchdowns. It seems like they're going to open it up for him to throw 30 to 40 times a game again. And with Olave, with Landry, and if Thomas plays, that's big for Jameis, first of all.
And we just have heard nothing as far as Michael Thomas' injury.
I think this is fine with his potential. I probably wouldn't draft him right now. We need more info. It's just too early. I think we could settle at that.
Yeah,
72 is a controversial one because we went over our RB rankings, and we have Elijah Mitchell here at 72 overall. I'm assuming you would like him to be higher.
He should be higher.
Okay, so what's the highest round you would draft him? This is
if I get a little bit more.
Do you feel the deja vu happening? Because there was another Niners running back that we had this conversation about before, like 3 years ago. Raheem Mostert. Yeah.
If I got a little more security that he's just the one, that's all I need.
Are you going to get that?
He is our RB1.
The king of the Shanahan hate
they
club
play tricks over there in San Francisco. I've heard it called Shanahanigans.
Okay.
If I got that somehow, I would be comfortable taking him in the 4th or 5th
Okay,
round.
then let's do a little this or that, and we'll get going through the rest of these guys. James Conner or Elijah Mitchell?
Elijah Mitchell.
Wow. Breece Hall or Elijah Mitchell?
Elijah Mitchell.
I don't even know what to say here. I got to get somebody you're not in love with to go next to him because I know you'll pick this other guy. David Montgomery or Elijah Mitchell?
Who?
Yeah, I know you.
I'd go Montgomery.
Okay,
there.
Cam Akers or Elijah Mitchell? Okay, yeah, we're early 4th round in that. Okay, so late 4th for you. That's fine. I just think between him, Trey Sermon, Tyrion Davis-Price, I just think there's a problem there. Even Jeff Wilson is still there, by the way. Next guy, I think I don't even know why we ranked him. Miles Sanders, screw that guy. After him, 74,
Yeah, he
Clyde
doesn't-
Edwards-Helaire. I think he's kind of like he's going to regress to a third down receiving back, in my opinion, which is fine. If he's your flex, I think that's actually like a sneaky flex to own. Don't you feel that way? Because like,
Yeah, he just doesn't get. He's only had 4
Sure.
touchdowns max on the ground.
but what if he
for
has
his
60
first 2
receptions
years.
this year?
Like,
Ronald Jones is carrying the load.
sure.
Clyde gets eight carries,
Yeah.
5
I like
receptions
that.
a game. Like that's a fine flex.
That's
And where
sneaky
he's
for
going
sure. Yeah.
is like free, essentially. Next guy, another Chief, Juju Smith-Schuster at 75. You're higher than him than I am. I don't think Mahomes like everything Juju does as a receiver is what Kelsey already does. So I just don't think he's good. What?
Well, Tyreek Hill played in the
Okay.
slot a lot, right? That's where their chemistry was. And Juju was one of the best
Okay.
slot receivers.
Are we comparing Tyreek? Are we
So,
comparing
I
Tyreek
think
Hill
there's-
to Juju in any other way than
Not
being
skill.
the same position? Okay, that's
No.
good. Okay,
Just that.
Juju is a washed receiver.
I just wash.
Yeah,
Isn't this like his
washed.
4th year?
He's like slowing down. He's a chain mover. He's like Jarvis Landry at this point. Like, I'd rather
Okay.
have
That's a good
Sky
comparison,
more.
honestly.
I'd rather take my shot with MVS with him going like 2 rounds later, 3 rounds later. For
Or
Mahomes,
Lazard.
for Mahomes, I want the deep ball guy, and that's just not Juju. That's just not.
Yeah.
But I think it's fine where he is. That's pretty much where he's going to. Next at 76, we got Kareem Hunt. Probably an underrated spot for him. I mean, he
Okay.
finished when he played a full year with Nick Chubb 2 years ago. He was He was like a top 15 running back. At 77, we got Matt Stafford. At 78, Ramondre Stevenson. I think he is being way too underdrafted. I mean, he is like way low. He's a sleeper at this point. At 79, we got Chase Edmonds. I think he'll end up being a good PPR back for Miami.
Yep.
At 80, we have
I'm
Adam
cool with that.
Thielen. Could Thielen be like?
Yes. He could
He's
be
so
60.
old. How does
He won't.
he can't,
I love
he
the.
keeps
I
catching
know, but he's a red
touchdowns.
zone dude. That's
God.
his thing. That's all he
I
does.
think he's a massive
I know.
sleeper.
I feel it
with
too.
where he's being drafted. Just touchdown potential.
Yep.
81, another sleeper, Tony Pollard. We're just not respecting him yet with absolutely.
Flex capabilities.
82, we got Devin Singletary. The reason he's this low, at least for me, is James Cook. The Bills spent a relatively high draft pick on James Cook to come and catch passes, and I think they're going to throw a lot. I know Singletary did a lot in the second half of the year, but I don't know if that's going to continue. 83, we got Hunter Renfrow, another PPR good player to own. I love him this year. Devontae Adams. Devontae
that's a good
Adams going
place
to take a
for
lot
him.
of pressure off of him. He's going to get even more open than usual. At 84, Trey Lance. I
hate saying it, but he could be
see,
higher.
and this took until today. This took until today
hate
for you
it.
to get on board with Trey Lance.
Well,
But
they
you gotta-
finally said they're
sometimes you
going to
gotta
do
be
it.
like,
So.
like you can't just sometimes you got to read the picture on the bathroom door, and it doesn't have to say men or women. Like you have to look at it and be like, "That's my bathroom. That's your bathroom." Like they don't have to tell us he's starting.
I've walked into women's restrooms more times than I'd like to count. Only once have I
see
actually
why you needed
used
today
it.
to happen to understand Trey Lance's starting.
Yeah. So I need some certainty there. The one I went into, I was like, man, there's no urinals here. I was like, well, it's a campground. Maybe they don't do that. And then I used the bathroom and came out and was like, there's women in here. This is wrong. I have to leave. And just like put my head down and walked out. I felt so embarrassed.
You won't get this anywhere else, folks. At 85, Gabe
No.
Davis, monster. I'm targeting.
Yeah, I'm rising
him
on him more and
at
more.
least 2 rounds higher than this. I think like 6th round. I'm gonna start looking at Gabe Davis. 86, Damian Harris. We have him lower than Ramondre because I think we both believe that Ramondre is the guy there. They'll still share, I'm sure. 87, we got Devontae Smith, who is going to be opposite of A.J. Brown in a revamped Eagles offense. I think he's He's kind of being slept on a little bit too.
I like that.
88, we got Dak Prescott. I think that's fine. 8th, 9th round.
Yeah, people are kind of fading him a little bit this year.
I think they're still going to throw it a lot. 89, we got DeAndre Hopkins. I think he's worth ranking because in the second half, he's going to come back fresh, ready to go. Like, it could be he could be like a league winner because of the like Amon-Ra St. Brown type thing, you know?
Yeah, my worry is just the target share that he wasn't getting.
But he was still catching touchdowns, which is what you want.
His skill is unmatched.
At 90, we have Melvin Gordon. He's still going to get touches. We already discussed that with Javonte Williams. So a late running back to target, I think, for your bench. 91, we got Dawson Knox at tight end. Had a great year last year. I would assume that would continue. I mean, he wasn't amazing every week, but he was very good a lot of the weeks. So at 92, we have Russell Wilson. I know this is too late for Allen. He's in love with Russell Wilson. He always has been.
No,
he's always been in love with Russell. I don't know what it is. He was pretty bad last year, honestly. It was like
he had the injury.
Like, come on,
he came back so early. Right, he shouldn't have.
Let's move it on. I mean, okay. Would you? Obviously, you're probably taking Russell ahead of Dak.
I would probably take Dak over Russell.
Wow.
I agree with that ranking.
So you think Russell could be top 3, but you would take Dak over him?
I just because I think it could happen doesn't mean my team should be built around that.
So then at 93 we have Rashad Penny and 94 Kenneth Walker III. Back-to-back jacks.
You did that on purpose just for this, didn't you?
I told you that when we were discussing it, actually.
So I don't know how to feel about that. Genuinely, because I don't know enough about Kenneth Walker. Or Ken Walker, as he likes to go by.
I'll let you know.
Visually,
he ran for like 200 yards.
I'm not doubting that he's
just is a monster, and he's not going to get hurt.
Yeah, but
that's a big. Right now, Walker's going so 1.5 to 2 rounds ahead of Penny.
What do you think the narrative of on the field is like
50-50
for both
probably.
of them being involved? You think?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think Penny's more of the receiving
Walker's
back?
getting the goal line touches.
Okay.
I don't think it's even going to be a question. So I think just touchdown upside alone puts Walker ahead of Penny. Penny was amazing last year, but I just don't think he can. Yeah, he is that.
And the year guy,
my guy for years, but not this year, baby. 94 or 95, we got Dallas Goedert, solid tight end. I think he's gonna have a nice year. 96, we got Cordero Patterson. This guy, man, he was so amazing last year, but
he was.
Yeah,
I don't know
think
if
we should
start falling.
I think we should. He's going to be
his age.
He's going to be more gadgety. I think this year he'll get like 5 carries, couple passes his way, but I don't think he's going to do too much. Not like last year. This guy, I think we have too low. At 97, we have Drake London. I think he's going to be pretty good this year. I think he should go up about 15 spots, honestly. 98, we got Treylon Burks, another rookie wide receiver, going to be playing for Tennessee. I was actually hoping the Browns would get him. He's a monster. At 90,
he is. It's just they're putting such bad press about him, and I don't get it. They're saying his asthma is really acting up right now, as if he hasn't had asthma his whole life.
That sounds like a July headline to me.
I don't. It's things based around that.
So yeah,
exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah, Russell Gage at 99 with Julio coming in. I still think that's fine because, as is, we don't know how Chris Godwin's going to be to start the year. He could be inactive for like 2-3 games, even though he's ready, cleared for camp. That doesn't mean they're ready to play him full time. So even if we're assuming Russell Gage is the number 4 wide receiver on this team, still worth owning, I think. And then at 100, Christian Kirk makes the cut. Which
Mr.
honestly,
Irrelevant.
if Doug Peterson gets to Trevor Lawrence and they improve a lot, this may be a really good pick for people. I mean, they paid him. Usually we tell you to follow the money. So we've seen Kirk do it too. He had a lot of talent.
I think if you're full PPR, he could be ranked a little higher too, just because like that's going to be his thing is full PPR.
Yeah, he could be like, I think he could be like 10 spots higher probably. And that's our list. Don't worry about the animals
literally surrounding me.
Hopefully they're watching on YouTube so they can actually see them. Otherwise, it'll only sound like barks.
Oh, is there anywhere else we can find that they could find that information
on our YouTube
mobile devices?
Yeah, I would tell you the URL, but they don't allow custom URLs when you first make the channel. So I will tell you to go to the TikTok account, and that is just search AA Fantasy Football. Should be pretty easy to find because people are looking. And then when you see our profile, you'll see a little YouTube icon. And if you click on that icon, it'll take you to the YouTube page where this podcast should be up tomorrow.
Love it. Love to hear it. We made it. We got some adjusting to do there, of course, but we'll do that as the years come and keep you guys updated. Oh, man.
Yeah. And I'll say thank you guys for the 100 episodes, for listening to us blabber about fantasy football. And if you, again, the giveaway, follow us on TikTok, subscribe on YouTube, $25 Amazon card. We're going to select something. I think we'll announce that on next week's pod.
Well, yeah, we'll probably run it for a week.
Yeah, I was thinking we could tell everybody on like Wednesday of next week, but maybe we'll let it run through like Friday. But if you follow the TikTok or the YouTube, we'll let you know.
If you guys would like, whoever wins, you could jump on the podcast with us for a little while and chit chat around.
Your fantasy football takes.
Be a little celebrity.
We'll take them to the talk. But that's going to do it. That's going to do it. I'm just going to argue every single one of them. Take us home.
AA Fantasy Football.